like to welcome Dina Stanziani, and this is from the US and from Philadelphia. Is that correct?
Yeah, just outside of.
Just outside. And we have been on Messenger and voice notes and things, but this is actually the first time we're sitting down together across the pond to have, you know, a chat with everybody, really, which is lovely. So it's a first for us, and it's the first for everybody that's going to sort of Zoom, you know, tune in tonight, and then obviously watch this on the replay. So Dina, your work is beautiful. It's just inspiring, and you're incredibly talented. And I know a little bit about your background, but not a huge amount. You know, I know sort of some snippets. And I think we've got to start at the beginning, you know, for you to introduce yourself to us all and tell us about your journey so far, really.
I would love to. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here. It took me forever to find pigments that I love. So I'm super grateful. And like I said, honored to be an ambassador. But I started PMU 7 years ago. I was a bartender, and I was just tired. You know, I was heading into my 30s, and I'm like, I gotta find a career. And I did my brows since I was a young girl. I actually shaved them off and started to draw them on at like 10 or 11. So I went through many phases. Yeah. So I've been doing my brows for a really long time. And I kind of stumbled across permanent makeup because I needed it myself. And I didn't love the work that I saw in my area. So I dove in. It was permanent makeup was my plan A, B, C, and D. So I took my savings that I had, and a big chunk of my life savings, and I, you know, put that into fundamentals, and then a plethora of training. I'm still training to, you know, taking trainings yearly. So that's kind of how it went. You know, it was, there was many times I wanted to quit. We all know how hard it is in the beginning. But I'm so glad that I didn't, because I built a beautiful business, and I'm happy to see like how much further I can grow it.
I think that's good to hear from people of your standard, that there were times where you wanted to quit, because I think sometimes a lot of the beginners, they look at people with experience and who are turning out consistently beautiful work, and they don't feel that they ever had the same problems, you know, but we've all had those problems, haven't we?
Skin, and I tell newer artists that contact me, skin is the hardest canvas you will ever work on. It's unpredictable. Even the most senior artists still have issues. We still run into problems. So but also that's what makes this, for us creatives, it's never boring. You never know what you're gonna get that comes in on your table, so.
Yeah, I love that, us calling us creatives, because that's what we are, isn't it? We are incredibly creative. So you have, from what I gather, a little bit like me, I think, in the past, you went from one clinic to another clinic and to another clinic before you established your own base. So I did. Flicking
so I needed an established business to kind of work behind their name, like ride their coattails, if you will. So I worked for a lot of medical spas, and in that I also learned a lot about skin, patient, things like that. So it was, I was very poor in the beginning.
Yeah.
Up about 60% of, here in the US, it's usually a 60-40 split, and then you work your way up.
Okay.
Take home much, but it was an investment. I considered those my college years.
Yes. I think I love that, actually.
Or for you, university years, right?
I love how you do that, because I think people, sometimes they feel they do a course and then then they're almost qualified to be charging the same amount of money that the more experienced artists charge. And it is this whole learning process, isn't it, that, well, that we never graduate from. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't charge in the beginning. You do have to, because they're when they see the price point, they're equating that with a level of experience that someone who's new doesn't have. So the client is always going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Mostly. You overcharge.
Mostly. So tell us about the place that you have now.
So this is my first brick and mortar. This is my first multi-room studio. I had a couple small rooms, kind of like a suite, if you will. And it was always a shared space. And it's nice to start out, but I just felt cramped and my business was growing and I needed something a little bit more professional.
Yes.
So I opened up my own spot, and I'm still scared.
Yes.
It hit a large inflation bubble over here. So, but I'm making it work, and I work hard. And I think if you are really ethical in what you do and you care about not only your work and your clients, you never have to worry about your business tanking.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I think it's really good to hear, though, that you didn't just jump into a big premises.
No, I would never do that.
Yeah.
I worked out definitely for over the course of about 3 or 4 years, and I saved a lot.
Yeah. So saving to also reinvest in learning.
Yes.
And then get yourself established enough to then be able to have somewhere that you could call your home and it be kind of special. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So whereabouts are you? So I know, no, I don't know Philadelphia, but I know that you're from Philadelphia, but you said a little bit
outside. We're in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So we're just outside the city. About 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. Sorry, I have a call coming in.
Yeah, I've got things flicking up.
And give me 1 second. Send voicemail. Okay. Actually, I think that's my Goldeneye delivery. Oh no.
That would be typical.
Get it. I'm sure he's there.
Oh God. Right. So that so you're not in the city, but you're about 45 minutes out. Yeah. Okay.
I have people travel in the city. I have people travel in from different states. Upstate New York, Connecticut. I have people fly in from Florida. So yeah, my name got around a little bit.
That's fantastic. It's really exciting, isn't it, when you get to that point that you've built a reputation for yourself, that word spreads. So to kind of link onto something else that I kind of want to talk about was about how do you talked about the inflation, and we have a similar problem in the UK, and but how do you advertise your business, or how have you built your business from a marketing perspective? How has that worked?
So this is a little bit different than other businesses because it requires an extreme amount of trust. When someone's tattooing permanent ink on your face. So word of mouth is my number one marketing. I make a lot of in-person connections. I've built a lot of relationships with other beauty service providers. So nurse injectors.
Yes.
Cosmetic surgeons, hairstylists, estheticians, you name it. Every once in a while, I'll run like a special just to get new clients in the door. But honestly, I don't really get much. I can spend thousands on that kind of marketing. And it's, again, hard to just go into somewhere and trust someone with your face. So less than 5% of people I get through Google and those kinds of ads. 95% of my clients know someone who I've tattooed.
Yeah. And that's lovely because there's almost that element of trust that comes with it.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think they're the best clients because they almost say, I'm in your hands, you know, you choose. Yeah. So I'll leave it up to the experts.
Yes.
So what's your favorite treatment?
So my favorite treatment is brows, and it's because it's the most transformative. So it means the most to a lot of my clients that come through the door. I see a lot of patients recovering from cancer. I've had a few trichotillomania clients who I've helped, and think alopecia, things along that line. And then lips are my second, freckles are my third, and eyeliner I have a love-hate relationship with. Yeah, it's so in that order.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, especially when you're working with what I would class as the when you're leaning more to the medical side of things, brows is so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember where I had mine done, I really didn't care about anything else. I'm like, as long because I just felt naked without my brows. So I know what these clients are feeling when they come in. So for me, that's like, it's just a special connection that I have with my clients who come in that don't have any brows.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that. They come in because they don't have brows. I think sometimes is it still treated as makeup over there? We had an interesting Zoom last night with Anna. I'm not sure if you managed to watch it yet, but whereas back in 2000, she started in 2005, I started in 2008, it was very much makeup. And now it's almost this invisible makeup, you know, this invisible that we're trying to do, because any old tattoo doesn't look good. And what are the expectations where you are from a client perspective?
A large portion of, and that's a really good take on, you know, the makeup part. I started my business, I named my business back in 2017 when it was a little bit more of like the makeup look, and it's going to cost so much money to rebrand, but you're really limiting yourself when you put makeup on there because men don't want to come to a permanent makeup clinic. You know, men want to come to a cosmetic tattoo restorative or something like that. So that was, I like that you touched on that. But yes, it's very natural. So my clients, what eases them is that I tell them that most of my clients that come back, because we do 2 sessions, they always want to go 1 or 2 shades darker. So it's never dark. I'm always conservative on the color. And then I hype up color that I'm like, they're the jam.
Yeah. But because we don't know how the skin's going to react all the time, it's always a good thing to be conservative.
It is. And I've learned that in the beginning of how I found Color Essence. I'm not watching the time, but how I found Color Essence was because I was never happy with the healed results. Even if the application was good, when they came back healed, I didn't feel like that was an accurate representation of my work. I'm like, I don't love the color. I don't love the dispersion of the pigment particles. And that's where Color Essence it's so soft. It just kind of like melts into the skin. Obviously, if you have a light hand, just like melts into the skin and you can't see those bigger pigment particles. And yeah, it's the best thing. I probably will give a starter kit to each client who comes, or I'm sorry, well, I guess they are a client, a student who comes through here. I'm going to start training soon. So it'll be
exciting. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because they're quite, for organic pigments, they're quite forgiving, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah. So they're because everybody says, oh no, organics are really they're really strong, they're really powerful, they're everything, but they're just not, are they? They're really forgiving.
So if I could describe color essence, I feel like it would be more, I know that it's carbon, but it acts more as a hybrid.
Yes.
Anyway. And then I tried the inorganics, and I don't like how hard you have to work to get them into the skin. That's just a personal preference of mine.
Yeah.
I don't like working the skin that hard. I feel like less is more. With everything, permanent makeup, trauma, you know, I want to say passes, but I feel like I'm going to get attacked if I say that. You know, so just overall less is more. And this, you can achieve that with color essence. You just have to get to know the colors. And that's what I hoped the few people that I turned on to color essence would, you know, kind of log on and really understand that the pure form. Don't get discouraged if the first couple times you have troubles or issues with getting the colors right, because it is a lot than other pigments. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it looks a lot darker in the cup than it is on the skin.
Oh, totally. Yes. So how did you hear about Goldeneye?
A former trainer of mine. So I used Elaine Campen. I used to follow, I actually flew to England to train with her in 2018 before the whole online boom happened. And I just followed everything that she did. And she pushed color essence. So that's how I heard about you guys. And I've never looked back.
Oh. Wow. Yes.
Sorry.
All right. So where's she based? I'm trying to see where
she's in. I can't remember.
South of England.
England? Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't.
So do you use any? I don't know. Do you use any of the other products that we have?
Yes, I use Push.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like, and I love how, I think we talked about this on one of the permanent makeup forums. I love how it's contained. It's not exposed to air.
Oh, yes.
It's Push, yeah.
Yes.
I tattoo right over that, and I feel comfortable because it's contained. But the Push, I use the seal before my clients leave, and I use a wash occasionally, especially on the eye area because it's really gentle.
Yeah.
And I tried Goldeneye's 1 RL. It's the 20 diameter, and I'm in love.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm weak at like the really, really small needles, but I mean, love it. I just ordered 2 more. I think that's the UPS that interrupted our call was delivering.
Okay. I really hope he's not left. So, yeah, I'm loving these new needles. I think, well, they're not new now, but they're kind of, a lot of people are finding them sort of, just sort of dancing with them. That's really good to hear. Thank you for that feedback, because I'm really enjoying using them. Yeah, I'm really enjoying using them. So, you say you have a bit of a love-hate. Oh, so what would be your favourite product, do you think, out of everything?
From the inks?
Sorry, beside the inks, yeah.
Oh, I would have to say Push.
Yeah.
I would have to say Push.
Yeah.
I use it for everything.
Oh, I use it for everything. And yeah, it's just, if anybody doesn't use it, it's just, there's minimal trauma, there's no healing, it's not sore to wipe, and the integrity of the skin stays really beautiful and soft and supple, and it removes the pigment from the skin. Yeah.
Takes the place of Vaseline. I know a lot of us were taught to use that, especially with eyeliner, to get off the skin. You can just use a little bit of the push. It goes a long way.
It goes an awfully long way, and it has that real calming. You know, sometimes with eyeliner, I just stick push on for 15 minutes at the end if they're a little bit swollen. And
I haven't
honestly,
really good tip. I'm going to try the whole 15 minutes. I just leave it on for like 5, but yeah.
15 minutes, and just get them to lie down, close their eyes, and just have a little rest, and I'll have a bit of a tidy up and what have you, and they feel so much better once everything's just calmed down and the retention seems to be better. I don't know, it's magic. I don't know what it is. It's just magic. So
very moisturizing, and that's what we need, especially with eyeliner and lips, because they dry out like the Sahara.
Yeah, they do dry out, and also with anesthetic as well, using that doesn't help, does it? So you talked about before the thought of throwing in, quitting. And so what would be your advice for people that are either starting off on this journey or struggling?
Don't quit, hang in there. It's, and I'm going to go back to the college thing, because you can't go to college for 1 year and then expect to get a degree and get a great paying job. And in a trade like this, it's the same thing. You got to put a minimum of 2 years. I feel a minimum of 2 feel confident in your work and see consistency, because and I tell my clients this as well, working in skin, it's the hardest canvas in the world. And you have to remember that this is one of the hardest crafts to master. So be gentle with yourself and give yourself time to grow and learn. And then reinvest. We talked about that in education. So take as many trainings as you can, preferably in person. If you have to do online, that's fine, but make sure there are reputable trainers.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about getting your head around the colours and how our colours differ from the brands, not in the quality sense, but in the actual colour sense. So how would you explain to people starting with the colours for the first time?
Add a little bit more of the darker base than you need. So if you think you need, I would say, let's just say the most common is Ebony Queen and Amazing Blonde.
Yeah.
So so you can always add, but I start off with, if I do 50-50, I'll put 2 more drops in of that Ebony Queen, and it's typically perfect. But in the beginning, I know it's scary, and they're not going to do that. They're going to say this is too dark. But this is the thing, we're building color. So when you go on your first pass, when you apply your first pass, it can't really be too dark. You know what I mean? So especially if with the ratios that we mentioned. So just add another drop or 2, and it'll, because I remember in the beginning, I did a lot of passes, and I'm like, why does it not look like it does in the cup? And I was afraid to put another drop of Ebony Queen in there, because I'm looking at the cup and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So it really does. The way that it transfers into skin, it's just a lot softer when it hits the skin than it is in a cup. And just remember that. That's brilliant, actually. You're so right. I get a lot of, obviously, DMs saying, oh, Ebony Queen frightens me, it's so dark. But if you think of the way we're working, it's so light, so superficial, it's so quick, that it doesn't deposit that dark color, does it? So it's incredible. Dark redwood.
Dark red
little bit different because it has a heavier value. So I tell all my the people who buy color essence who reach out to me, the dark redwood has a heavier value. So that I would be a little bit more careful with. Do you agree?
I do agree. I do agree. I do agree. However, I love for really dark brows that mix of the warm and the cool, the dark redwood, the ebony queen, and especially for anybody with high melanin content.
Yes.
Then I want to load more of the dark redwood. Yeah, I want to load dark redwood.
Yeah.
So
when you're lighter values, just be really careful with that dark redwood.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good tip. And we've got Jasper saying we've got 2 minutes. Crikey!
Oh,
I was going 2-3 minutes. 2-3 minutes. Oh my goodness! So
it felt like 10.
So, have you got? So we talked a little bit about brows. Your second thing you like is lips. Have you got any favorite colors for lips that you go, that's what I go to, and that's what I go to?
Okay, so Very Berry is my new favorite. That is Very Berry mixed with lip blush or lavish lips.
Yeah. Nice.
So the mauve color is really popular in my area. So that's like my go-to.
Good choice. Emily will like that because she put that in her kit. Yeah, she chose that in her kit.
I follow her lip combinations.
Yes. I mean, she's a great one, isn't she, for new ideas? Yeah, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
So very quickly, you've talked about clients with alopecia, clients with trichotillomania. Can you talk very quickly about one particular client, a tricky client that you had that you managed to sort of, I don't know, achieve a result in the end that was challenging?
You mean their skin type?
Yeah, just talk about, can you think of anybody that was in particular?
Yes. So sun damaged skin is always the hardest. And use bigger needles. It's kind of the older women who baked on the beach and they have a lot of sunspot, a lot of sun damage. That's always my hardest skin types. I go really warm with the color.
Yes.
Bigger needles, very, very soft. I tell them if it heals too light, that's fine.
Yes.
I'd rather it be too that mutated skin can really turn that color darker. So I think that's, in my opinion, the hardest skin type to work with in permanent makeup.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, right, Jasper. Oh my God, we got 1 minute. We've got 1 minute. So, words of advice for anybody out there. Words of advice. Words of Dina wisdom. So.
Oh man, be genuine. Don't. I see a lot of people, at least in my area, copying. So they try to copy other artists and do what they do, and you really got to find your own vibe. You got to be, and when you're not coming from a genuine place, I feel people feel that and they know that. So just find out who you are as an artist and really lean into that and go with it and focus on you. Don't look at what other people are doing unless, it's for educational purposes.
Yeah, I love that. That's a brilliant way to end this conversation. It has been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to do something else together, but we'd like to say thank you for joining us this evening, and you're an amazing ambassador for this. Right, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Debbie. Bye, Jasper.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Dina. Thank you.
Bye-bye.